Hello, hello. Thank you for coming and checking out my channel. My name is Jennifer and this is Jen the Bookworm. Today I'm bringing to you my April TBR, and I'm bringing it to you a little earlier than I maybe normally would, or at least I'm filming it a little earlier than I normally would. And typically I put that together with what I read in March and just make it one video. But I want to bring to you guys this video because I want to talk about what's going on in April. In April, the Keymark Discord, which I'm a part of, is having another read-a-thon. This one is the TBR Blitz Read-a-thon. What that means is that the goal is to take 5 books that are already on your TBR. 5 books that maybe for whatever reason you've been meaning to read but you haven't yet gotten to, and knocking them out of the park. Getting them off your TBR, cleaning up your TBR a little bit. 5 books at a time. So, and 5 book total for this read-a-thon. So, these are the rules. You can read a max of 5 books. If you read more, you only can get points for a max of 5 books. You can read less books as well. If you join a team and you read only 1 or 2 books, your team is still going to appreciate those points. But you can read a max of 5 books. No graphic novels, no novellas. All the books have to be at least 200 pages long. And we were looking for sci-fi, fantasy, particularly. So those are the rules. So here are the prompts. And these prompts have been made to specifically so that you can grab books off of your existing TBR that will fit. So there are 10 main prompts. One is to have a book that's recommended by a friend. One is a book you're continuing a series. A book that's been on your TBR for over a year. A recent addition, my fingers don't work, a recent addition to your TBR. Books that you've been hoarding because you know you're going to love it. I don't know if you've ever done that, but holding on to a book for a time when you know you're going to need a really good read, and you feel like this is going to be a good read, so you don't want to waste it on a month that you have other really good reads maybe. So if you've got a book like that, this would be a good prompt for you. You bought a book you bought for the cover. We all do that, don't we? And the intimidating chonker, over 500 word book. The oldest publication date on your TBR. So a book that you have on your TBR that is the oldest publication date that you have on your TBR. That would be a good book. A book that's outside your comfort zone. There's another one that sometimes we pick up a book because we've got a recommendation from maybe another booktuber or a friend, but we're just not sure this is going to be the book for us or not. Enough for us to have picked it up. Maybe enough question for us not to have read it right away. So that would be a good reason to push out that book. Is it because you're using it for this prompt? And the last one is a book that is on the back burner, or you've intended to get back to it if you kind of started it and shelved it for a little bit. So those are the 10 main prompts. If you can pick 5 books that fit 5 of those 10 prompts, and you read all 5 books from April 1st to April 30th, you will get 5 points. If you review those books, you can review them on Amazon, on Goodreads, or on Storygraph. And if you review those books, and it doesn't have to be a long review, you just give a general idea of how you enjoyed it. You don't even have to go through, this is what happened. You don't even want to, if you don't want to spoil people, you don't want to do that too much. But you can say, I liked this book, I didn't like this book, this is the impression I got, this is how it made me feel, done. So if you do a review on one of those 3 places, you get another point per book. So if you read 5 books and you reviewed 5 books, that's 10 points that you can get. Now there's a max of 15 points that you can get for this read-a-thon. Here's where the other 5 points come in. There are bonus points if and you can only use one of these bonus points once. You can't do the same bonus point for all of them. So you can get a bonus point if one of your books is by an indie author. which means even if it started out as an indie author and it's now a traditionally published author, that wouldn't count. So it would be an indie author that is not traditionally published. One of your books has to be a debut novel. The first novel that they wrote, they came out with. One is a book that is published in the 21st century, and another is a book that was published in the 20th century, so maybe reaching back a little bit. And the last one is the second book in a series, because how many times have we started series, we've read the first book, and we've got, okay, it was great, we're going to read the second book, but we haven't gotten to it yet. So this prompt helps you pull up a book from your TBR that you've been meaning to read. It's a second book in a series. You can get an extra point for that. Now, like I said, you can only use each of those bonus points once. You can't do the second book in a series 5 times and get 5 points for it. So, or you can't do all 5 of them indie authors and get 5 points for indie authors. So those are your 15 points. 5 books total reading, 5 reviews, and each of those books being an indie author debut novel published in the 21st century, published in the 20th century, and the second book in the series. So if you are interested in maybe doing a TBR like that, even if you're not a booktuber, even if you're not somebody who creates content, but you like to read along with people, I highly recommend joining the Keymark Discord. There are a bunch of great people. If I do say so myself, I am a moderator there, but I'm not the greatest one that's there. There's a lot of great people that are part of this Discord, and a lot of friendships can be made by being put on a team. There are 4 teams, 4 team captains, and you go on there and you can pick, what's your first choice, second choice, third choice for a team captain. And if the team that you'd like to be on has an opening, then they'll shuffle you onto there, and then you and your team will read together, and the points that you guys all accumulate will be compared to the other 3 teams, and we'll see who wins. And really, even if you only read 1 book, and it's a great book, you've won. But in the spirit of fun competition, we're all splitting up into teams and seeing how we compare to the other teams. There is a lot of interaction on the Discord, and it can be a lot of fun, and I hope that you will want to join. For my TBR, what I've chosen to read for April to fit this is I've chosen to continue a series. I am doing Feast of Crows by George R.R. Martin, which I am also using that it was published in 21st century for the bonus point. I am a part of the Game of Thrones, or the Song of Ice and Fire read-along. I've been doing it since January, so I'm going to continue that. I'm also doing a recent addition to my TBR, and I'm doing the book Phase by Victoria Tekken. She is an indie author. She is also a booktuber and the team captain of my group. But this is something that I've recently been exposed to, and I had it on my TBR, and I thought this would be the perfect time to read it. Let's see, I bought it for the cover. A book I bought for the cover, Valor by John Gwynne, and this is also a second book in a series, so I'll get that extra bonus point for that. Really, I really got interested in The Faithful and the Fallen because of the covers primarily, and then I started watching booktubers and they were just raving about it, so that's why I got it started. And I've only read Malice, and so I'm looking forward to reading that second book. Let's see. The Intimidating Chonker. I have been wanting to read this author since I started BookTube, and I haven't yet. They are a bit intimidating. It's hard to work them into what I've been reading what I already have been reading. This is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I'm starting the First Law trilogy. I'm excited to start the First Law trilogy. I'm excited to read some Joe Abercrombie to see if he measures up to all the high praise that I've heard from the people that I follow. So it's also his debut novel, so I will get the extra point for the debut novel. The last one is a book that's outside my comfort zone. Neil Gaiman is outside my comfort zone. I have read one of his books before, I think, Coraline, with my daughter, and I enjoyed it, and we listened to the audiobook, and I really enjoyed him narrating the book. And so I'm looking forward to trying Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. And this was a book that was published in the 20th century, so I get my extra bonus point for that. So those are the books that I intend to read for April, to fit into this TBR Blitz Read-a-thon that the Keymark Discord is putting on. If you're interested in reading books for a readathon and racking up points for your group, please, I will have a link to the Discord below. Join us and enjoy the chill, fun atmosphere of Keymark, and maybe try this readathon and see if you like them. If you've never done a readathon before, Keymark is the way to go. I did my first readathon ever with them in January, and I really enjoyed it. So this starts on April 1st. So get to the Discord, check it out. If you feel so inclined, sign up for the readathon. We'd be happy to have you. So thank you for coming and checking out what I'm going to be doing in April. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please consider leaving me a like. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I hope to see you there. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.